My name is Jason Sample, and this is Built by Baccarat.
All right, so first question. I've never played Baccarat before. What's the best way you can explain it like if I'm 5 years old?
I mean, it's a simple game. You know, they say it's the best odds in the casino. All you do is bet bank or a player. People get it confused and they think, well, the bank should be the dealer and the player should be the player, but that's not the case. There could be a table with 5, 6 people sitting at it, and you could either choose to bet the banker side or the player side. There's 2 hands dealt, 2 cards to each, 1 for the player, 1 for the bank. The closest to 9 is the winner. Certain cards create a draw. Any casino you go to, they have a card which usually people keep score on, and it has all the rules for the draws, how to play and whatnot. But pretty much for you, if you come in, you buy in whatever it may be, $1,000, you bet banker or player, the dealer can do everything. And at mini Bach, you can't touch the cards, but at mini Bach, you can touch it. And people like to squeeze the cards. It's for good luck. You know, they think, well, hey, I'm going to get a better card than them. Me personally, if the dealer's beating me, I want them to open the hands. You know, and basically we take turns. If you and I are playing and I get beat, then I want you to open the cards. And then when you win a couple and then you lose one, then we switch to someone else. And usually I just let the dealer do it. But yes, in a nutshell, it's a simple game, banker or player. There are some bonuses. Some people like to bet the pairs. You can bet player pair, banker pair. You can bet tigers now, dragons, pandas. There's a lot of bonuses. The game has evolved tremendously in my 25 years of playing. All we had back in the day was just banker, player, and tie. And now with all the new bonuses, I've always been a fan of the tie. Now I'm like a real big fan of the tiger. So I bet small tiger, big tiger, which is a 3-card 6 for a big tiger on the banker side and a 2-card 6 win with a small tiger on the banker side. And we'll go into more depth on the bonus stuff in other videos. I'll talk about specific bonuses and in my thoughts and you know, basically the odds and whatnot on that.
What is the difference between player and banker, and should you bet on one more than the other?
That's a good question. So the way the cards come out, typically you would think that because you pay a 5% commission on the banker side, that would be the dominant side to play. But I've seen player dominant shoes. And on the player, when you win, there's no commission. So, you know, for me, I basically navigate. So if I'm playing a shoe, I watch what the shoe's doing, I watch the patterns, and I pick my bet accordingly. It's kind of like this. My analogy for it is if you're driving a car, just because it'll go 150 miles an hour doesn't mean in traffic you'll drive at 150 miles an hour. So treat that like your bankroll. Just because you have 150,000 in front of you doesn't mean you're going to bet that every hand. You're going to bet accordingly. Some bets are going to be feeler bets, which will be a minimum bet. And then some bets you're going to really like more than others, and you'll size them up. Maybe, you know, twice the minimum, 3 times the minimum, et cetera, et cetera. I'll talk about why I like betting banker or player when I can actually post up a shoe. I'll bring a dealer in and they'll actually play the hands and I'll navigate through it and I'll tell you why I like what I like. But every bet I make, I typically do have a reason why I bet it.
I know typically like with poker, they have like pocket aces, things like that. You have craps numbers. Is there like a perfect number, perfect type of cards for Baccarat that's like the cards you want desirable?
I mean, typically if you have any face card in a 9, it's a natural and there's no draw. So that's what you want. The worst thing that can happen is it's a push and that's a tie. So I typically cover the tie for whatever the value of my bet is. So if I'm betting $200 on the banker, I'm putting a quarter on the tie and an extra quarter on top of the bank. So I don't get a push because I feel like it triggers me. So if it were to tie, I would still get the same 200 off of the tie. I feel like there's something like if you make a bet on banker or player and it ties, it triggers something in your mind. It makes you a little more aggressive. And then if you were to lose a couple of hands, you may bet more than you should just because you missed out on that bet.
Is there any skill involved or is it just kind of luck with Baccarat?
I mean, with every gamble in life, there's a bit of luck. But I would say this. Once you get enough seat time and you start to learn patterns, whatever style of play you choose to play, because there is no set style. Some shoes run, some shoes chop, some are dominant. And then there are things that you can read, such as Chinatown and whatnot, on the screen, which will be displayed on the side of the table, one side or the other. And if it's a shoe that you're picking the right side, which the best part about this game is being able to take free hands. So like if you could take free hands in blackjack, it'd be amazing because you just wait for it to get hot. Well, this one, you pick your bet, whether you bet or not. And then if you're picking the right side, then yes, you'll definitely feel comfortable, bet more. And then you have to have a stop win and a stop loss in order to make money.
What's the biggest mistake beginner Baccarat players make?
I would say that the biggest mistake would be play at a table with a minimum that's too large for your bankroll. Anytime that you start off with anything new, you're learning and you got to pay to learn. So I suggest going to a casino where they have small limits or play on your phone for free on an app. Get comfortable with your bets, understand the game a little bit, and then go put your money down. But definitely they just play bigger than they should. If you buy in $100 and the minimum is $25, you don't really get much of a chance. So whatever your bankroll is, make sure you play at a table that fits your bankroll.
Why do high rollers love Baccarat so much?
I mean, they say it's the best odds in the casino for the player. For me, I feel like it's because typically a Baccarat table used to be in a high limit room where people dress nice, where they had a lot of money in front of them. And it's one of those deals where this game becomes interesting because typically in a big game, such as this table, whatever player bets the biggest hand has control of the shoe. So he's basically the one that gets to open the cards. So that was always kind of like, okay, I got more money than you, or I'm willing to risk more money than you. And it gives everybody that feeling of control. So I think that's one of the things that people don't talk about with this game is whoever bets the biggest has control of that hand. I typically, even if I'm playing bigger, if I see someone that's opening winning hands, or I walk up to their table, there's certain things about etiquette at a table. If they're already winning, I'm going to let them keep playing. I'm going to let them keep opening the cards. Or if I join their game mid-shoe, look, I'm joining y'all's table. You keep opening, keep doing what you're doing. I'm just betting. And that's typically, how I treat it. But everybody's different. Most people want to control it.
If I'm a beginner and I'm walking up to the table, what's one thing you should never do at a Baccarat table that's bad luck or bad energy?
Well, one thing that I hate is when someone stands behind me. I mean, look at it like this. If you're having dinner with your family and someone walks up and stands behind you while you're eating and watches you eat, what's the difference between that and me betting my money? I don't like that. If you walk up to a table, at least stand where they can see you. People think, oh, I'm in a casino, you can do that. Well, that's not the way it is. I mean, they can do it, but do I like it? No. Does another player like it? Would you want someone standing behind you, bringing their bad luck to you? We don't want their luck. We want our luck. If I lose this hand, I want it to blame me, not the guy that walked up behind me that I don't know. Or maybe he's smoking a cigarette, blowing smoke over me when I don't smoke, But whatever it may be, just be respectful when you walk up when someone's betting a large amount of money.
Last question. Can you actually beat Baccarat long term?
I can't speak for others, but I've beaten Baccarat long term. And I think the only thing that differs me from others is my discipline to be able to walk away when it's bad and get in and get out when it's good. If you don't have a stop win and a stop loss, they're going to keep bringing money until you start losing. So you have to have a set number. Your bankroll. Cool. I came in with 10,000. This is what I'd like to make. Once I get to that number or close to it, I'm getting out. Leaving on a winning hand instead of a losing hand is the key.
What is one time where you've won the biggest or you've had the best story at the Baccarat table?
I don't like to talk about money. And if you know me, I've been playing this game 25 years. And with social media, I don't typically post money unless it's on my private group. But in perspective, which it always is, because I've seen guys betting 7 figures a hand. Very rare. A lot of times betting 6 figures a hand. Me personally, I've only bet what I consider big, a nice Mercedes a hand. But to answer your question, probably one of the biggest wins I've had is I won 28 hands in a row. And to me, it's about winning the units. Because $5 to you may be like $100 to another guy. So I created a unit strategy for me, whether I'm betting $25 chips or 25K chips, which I've bet both, I treat it with the same respect. And it's almost like a motorcycle. The minute you don't respect it and you're not scared of it, it'll hurt you. You can lose tens of thousands of dollars betting $25 chips because you're so comfortable to bet them. So if you treat all chips equal and you know how many units you want to make and you created that unit based on your bankroll, then that's the best way to play Baccarat. So to answer your question, I've won 27 hands in a row.
You're on a losing streak. How do you keep your head in the game so you don't end up on tip?
Typically when I start playing a session, I start a timer. I know that I lose my patience at about 2 hours. So when I get to that 2 hour mark, I just cut it. Win, lose, draw, whatever. Sometimes it's best to walk away and then come back with a fresh, clean patience and head.
What's the most superstitious thing like you could do at a Baccarat table?
I mean, I would say if someone's playing a hand and let's say they're on banker and you call out a good card for the player side, I mean, it's really disrespectful, People do it. Obviously, if you have no reason to cause someone bad juju, you never would want to do that. But if someone disrespected you, maybe somebody might retaliate that way. But I mean, typically you don't want to do anything to disturb someone that's betting their money. I can give you an example. My boy that's here right now, I mean, typically the dealers, they know how to get in our head. So they'll do stupid things like if he's not winning and he's irritated, the dealer will throw him the wrong cards on purpose just to mess his mojo up. I've seen that personally with him and me. We both played the game for over 2 decades. You're going to see a lot of that. The dealer has no reason to want to beat you other than if you irritate them or vice versa. You know what I mean? So if they're trying to cause you problems, they know that something's going to irritate you and throw you off your game. I always try to put a bet there with my bet for them to make them feel like they're like winning with me.
Do you have any rituals before you play?
I mean, I think the most important thing is when you start your day that you're going to gamble on, make sure that you do everything that you can to clear your head, get motivated, and just basically focus on the win. It's just like a pep rally before a game on Friday in school. Y'all get amped up. All you think about is the win. Well, I treat every session like that. I do what I got to do to clear my head and believe that I'm going to win. You go up there with the mindset that you're going to lose, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose.
What is the wildest thing you've ever seen happen at the table, either personally with you or with another person?
I saw a dude lose all his money, took off his shoe, and threw it on banker. You remember that one? That was a good one. Yeah. He did it. He really put it. He didn't get to make the bet, but he lost all his money, and we were in a private room, and he threw his shoe up on the table and bet his shoe. That was the funniest thing I ever seen.
Do you think most people who play Baccarat actually know what they're doing?
No.
Absolutely not. Yeah, that was an easy answer. No, I mean, most people that gamble don't know what they're doing. And there's a difference between knowing how to play a game and being able to gamble. And the problem is when people put money in anything, whether it's my racing, whatever, it throws them off their game. If you don't have the seat time, the comfort with winning and losing money, you shouldn't gamble with money that you can't afford to lose.
What got you into Baccarat in the first place?
Of course, an Asian, a guy that I knew from Houston. He was a great player. I just didn't think he was a good gambler. I watched him make a lot of money, then lose a lot of money. Make a lot of money, lose a lot of money. But he's obviously never gotten rich from gambling because he has a liking to it. And I think anything you like in life or enjoy in life costs you. I don't like to gamble. I like money.
What would you tell your younger self before sitting down at a Baccarat table?
What would I tell my younger self? Well, I mean, I liked the action back then. So I had some really good days and some really bad days. And I was enjoying it at first. It's something new, you know? But honestly, like, Baccarat's been really good to me. So, you know, I paid my dues. I put in my time and I made it a profession. I treat it like a business. I don't drink. I don't enjoy it. You know, when I'm playing, it's all sobriety, no fun. It's not a game. It's business.
If Baccarat was a person, how would you describe her?
It would be a female. It'd be a love-hate relationship. It would definitely be a female. To me, it would be a love-hate relationship. But hey, yeah, if Baccarat was a person,
Never getting tired.
yeah, it's like going through a divorce on some days. It can cost you a lot. But no, all jokes aside, if it could be a person, it would definitely be a female to me. It's good and bad. Yin and yang.